What is going on, guys? It is Carly here, once again bringing you a weekly dose of horror. Yes, bringing this back for 2020 and hopefully being a little more consistent with it. But yeah, we're moving right along. We're still in the C section, and we are on to Child's Play 2 from the year 1990. Oddly enough, I'm wearing a Chucky shirt right now that JP got me, so that's fitting. I didn't really plan that out, but anyway, yeah, Child's Play 2, pretty much a follow-up to the first one where you are now following Andy, of course, the little boy from the first one. After the horrific events that took place, he is now taken in by the system pretty much because his mom is under evaluation for thinking the doll was alive and all that, and of course they deemed her crazy. So now Andy's kind of on his own, and he is taken in by a foster family, and you know, he still has some mental problems going on, and he thinks Chucky is still gonna come for him, but they're all like, no, that never happened, and all that, blah blah blah. And of course Chucky is back, and he seeks Andy out and goes back to trying to get into his body, steal his soul, and become human again. So that's the general story, I guess. Child's Play 2, this used to be my favorite one, honestly, in the franchise. I didn't watch this one in years, actually. It was actually weird rewatching it because there were certain things I didn't even remember from the film. It's been that long. This DVD's pretty much really shitty, by the way. I don't know what I used to do when I was young, but obviously I took the cover out or something because this is one of those old ones I've had in the collection forever. But yeah, this is the one that I would always kind of go back to because I thought it was just a little more fun and entertaining than the first one is. Upon rewatch, I still do kind of feel that way. I like where it goes, how it's a whole different setup, and you have Andy with this foster family who's already kind of a little leery on his behavior, and but they want to work with him and all that, and then you have Chucky kind of going to that house. So it's a new location, it's a fresh type of thing, and I like that you are following Andy. I think that as a child actor, I don't really think Alex Vincent was the best, to be completely honest. Just some of his way of saying lines is always very similar, but I do think he gets better in this movie, and you could definitely see that he obviously matured over the 1 year period from the first film. So I do like him a lot better in this one than I do in the first movie. Some of the things I don't really like about the movie, I guess, is the foster family, the father in the family. I never really realized this when I was young, but he's kind of like a dickhead from the start. He's really not into the idea of taking Andy in, and I just think it's like you're a foster parent and you should. Obviously, it's probably the mom who's more into fostering the kids, but the dad is just like one of those annoying characters where he doesn't believe anything Andy says and all that, and thinks he's just this crazy kid who's troubled and they can't really take care of. Never used to bother me, but watching it this time, I realize it's consistent up until, you know, the dad's, spoiler alert, death. But yeah, it's a small thing, but it's kind of just a little bit annoying. Other things, there's like this one kill that takes place in the school, and if I'm remembering correctly, it happens, and then like nothing ever really goes back to it. Like they don't think Andy's suspicious for it or anything like that, because he's staying in detention, and Chucky, of course, comes and ends up murdering the teacher, and I don't think they ever really go back to it, and it's just one of those weird things where it's like a cool death and all, but it's doesn't really, I don't know, you would think they would go back to it since they're already kind of suspicious on Andy maybe being a little bit mental after all this, but just one of those small little things. Other than that, I do enjoy the film. I think it's a fun movie. I feel like nowadays I would prefer the first one over this one, though. I did watch the first one more in recent time, and I do think I actually have come to like that one the best. So it's kind of interesting to see how that kind of changed up over time, but I think this is a fun movie. I like the characters. I like Kyle, you know, of course, the other foster child who I think she's like 17 years old, but the other foster kid that they are housing at their place. I do enjoy her and the dynamic, the kind of friendship, the bond, I guess you could say, that she makes with Andy. So I like all that. Kyle is a cool character, and you always kind of wish that she would have come back in the later films and all that, but yeah, overall, I think it's a fun movie. Chucky, of course, is great in it as well. He gets a lot more characteristics, I guess you can say, in this film, where in the first one he doesn't really talk until later on. It's like this one he's kind of like all in, but he's not too overly goofy or anything like that. Of course, how he gets later on in the franchise, so I do like that about it as well. And of course the effects on him are super good, and the voice acting by Brad Dourif is always really good as well. So yeah, overall, Child's Play 2, I dig it. I give it an 8 out of 10. Yeah, so thank you guys once again for joining me for this weekly dose of horror. As I said, I'm going to try to be a little more consistent with these and get them out, especially it's the start of the year, so I usually don't have a ton going on, so should be able to get these out weekly at this point, hopefully, fingers crossed. And yeah, thank you guys for joining me for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.